He bought a championship with cash and bullets and turned America's pastime into a crime scene. If you're fascinated by stories of money, manipulation, and the darkest corners of American history, follow along, because this is the tale that changed sports. Crime and Trust Forever, New York City, October 1919. Game 1, 8 baseball players from the Chicago White Sox step onto Redland Field in Cincinnati. They are supposed to win. They are the favorites, the greatest lineup in baseball, but they have already decided to lose. Arnold Rothstein sits in a Manhattan hotel room. He does not attend the game. He does not need to. The outcome has already been arranged. Rothstein is 47 years old. He wears custom suits. He carries no weapon. He does not raise his voice. But every gambler, politician, and thug in New York knows his name. He is called the Brain. Rothstein was born in 1882 on the Upper West Side. His father is Abraham Rothstein, a respected businessman and community leader. His mother keeps a traditional Jewish household. Arnold does not follow that path. By age 16, he is running card games in back rooms. By 20, he owns a piece of a Manhattan casino. He learns early. Information is currency. Knowing the outcome before anyone else is power. By 1919, Rothstein controls loan operations, illegal casinos, and bookmaking across New York. He finances rum-running operations before Prohibition even begins. He lends money to gangsters, politicians, and businessmen. He never forgets a debt. He never forgives one either. The 1919 World Series is his largest gamble yet. The idea does not originate with him. It begins with a former boxer and small-time hustler named Joseph Sport Sullivan. Sullivan approaches Rothstein in late September 1919. He tells him the Chicago White Sox are unhappy. Their owner, Charles Comiskey, is one of the wealthiest men in baseball, but he pays his players less than almost any other team. Some of the best players in the league earn less than average workers. Sullivan tells Rothstein that certain players are willing to lose on purpose if the money is right. Rothstein listens. He does not commit immediately. He asks questions. How many players? Which positions? Can they control the outcome without raising suspicion? Sullivan assures him it can be done. Rothstein consults his network. He speaks with gamblers in Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia. He learns that others are also trying to organize the fix. Former featherweight boxer Abe Attell is involved. So is a man named Bill Burns, a former major league pitcher. Rothstein decides the plan is viable, but he will not meet the players himself. He uses intermediaries. The key conspirators on the White Sox are first baseman Chick Gandil and pitcher Eddie Cicotte. Cicotte is 35 years old. He has won 29 games during the 1919 season. He is one of the best pitchers in baseball, but Comiskey promised him a $10,000 bonus if he won 30 games, then benched him for the final 2 weeks to avoid paying. Cicotte is angry. He agrees to lose. Gandil recruits 7 other players, pitchers Claude Lefty Williams and Eddie Cicotte, outfielders Shoeless Joe Jackson and Happy Felsch, shortstop Swede Risberg, third baseman Buck Weaver, and utility infielder Fred McMullin. They are promised $80,000 total, $10,000 per man. Rothstein arranges for the money to be delivered through intermediaries. Attell and Burns handle the player payments. Rothstein does not trust them completely. He hedges. He places massive bets through separate channels. He spreads the risk. If the fix fails, he will still profit. Game 1 takes place on October 1st, 1919. Eddie Cicotte is the starting pitcher. In the first inning, he hits Cincinnati's leadoff batter with a pitch. It is the signal. The fix is on. Cicotte pitches poorly. The White Sox lose 9-1. Game 2 is the next day. Lefty Williams pitches. He allows 3 runs in the 4th inning. The White Sox lose 4-2. Rumors begin immediately. Sports writers notice strange betting patterns. Gamblers across the country are placing unusually large bets on Cincinnati. The odds shift dramatically. By Game 3, many suspect something is wrong, but no one can prove it. The White Sox win Game 3. Some players are not fully committed to the fix. Shoeless Joe Jackson hits well throughout the series. He later claims he tried to return the money, but he kept it. The series continues. The White Sox lose Game 4, they lose Game 5. Cincinnati leads the series 4-1. They need one more win to take the championship. Behind the scenes, the players are arguing. They were promised $10,000 each. Most have received only a fraction. Chick Gandil has collected some money, but has not distributed it fairly. Eddie Cicotte receives $10,000 before Game 1, as promised. Others receive $5,000. Some receive nothing. Lefty Williams is angry. He threatens to pitch honestly in Game 6. Rothstein hears about this. He does not contact Williams directly. Instead, he sends a message through an enforcer. The message is simple: lose the game, or your wife will be hurt. Williams pitches Game 8 on October 9, 1919. He is pulled after 1/3 of an inning. He allows 3 hits and 4 runs. The White Sox lose 10-5. Cincinnati wins the World Series. Rothstein wins approximately $350,000. Some estimates run higher. He collects quietly. He covers his tracks. He never admits involvement. The players receive far less than promised. Joe Jackson gets $5,000. Buck Weaver may have received nothing. He participated in meetings but did not throw games. It does not matter. He knew about the fix. That is enough. For months, nothing happens. The rumors persist, but Major League Baseball does nothing. Team owners want the scandal buried. Whispers turn into headlines in September 1920. A grand jury convenes in Chicago. The investigation is not initially about the World Series. It begins with a separate allegation involving a Cubs game. But once the door opens, everything spills out. Eddie Cicotte cracks first. On September 28, 1920, he walks into the office of Charles Comiskey and confesses. He tells him everything. Comiskey is furious but not surprised. He has suspected the fix since Game 1. He has done nothing to investigate because he does not want the scandal. Cicotte then testifies before the grand jury. He describes the payments. He names the other players. He admits he threw games. He weeps during his testimony. He says he needed the money for his family. "I've lived 1,000 years in the last 12 months, he says. Joe Jackson testifies next. He admits he took the money, but he claims he played his best. His batting average for the series is .375. He had 12 hits, including the only home run by either team. He insists he tried to return the money but was refused. "I never threw a game in my life," he says. The grand jury does not believe him. Lefty Williams confesses as well. He admits he lost Game 8 on purpose. He does not mention the threat to his wife. He does not name Rothstein. Rothstein's name does appear in testimony, but only through intermediaries. Hab Attell testifies. He admits he organized payments. He says Rothstein financed the fix, but Attell is a known liar. His testimony is filled with contradictions. Rothstein is never charged. He travels to Chicago voluntarily in October 1920. He testifies before the grand jury. He denies everything. He says he heard rumors of a fix and declined to participate. He claims he bet on the White Sox to win, not Cincinnati. He has no receipts, no records. He has covered everything. The grand jury does not indict him. 8 White Sox players are indicted: Eddie Cicotte, Claude Williams, Joe Jackson, Chick Gandil, Swede Risberg, Happy Felsch, Fred McMullen, and Buck Weaver. They are charged with conspiracy to commit fraud. They are banned from baseball immediately. The trial begins on June 27, 1921. It lasts 1 month. The courtroom is packed every day. Reporters from across the country cover the proceedings. The players sit together. Some look ashamed. Others look defiant. The signed confessions from Cicotte, Jackson, and Williams have disappeared. The grand jury records are missing. Someone has stolen them. It is never determined who. Many believe Rothstein paid for their removal. Without the confessions, the prosecution's case weakens. The defense argues that even if the players took money, they cannot be convicted of fraud. Throwing a baseball game is not illegal under Illinois law. The jury is sympathetic. On August 2, 1921, the jury returns a verdict: not guilty on all counts. The courtroom erupts. The players celebrate. Some jurors hug the defendants. There is cheering. For a moment it appears the players will be reinstated. They are not. The next day, Kennesaw Mountain Landis makes a statement. Landis is the first commissioner of baseball. He was appointed after the scandal to restore public trust. He is a former federal judge known for harsh rulings. He does not care about the jury's verdict. Regardless of the verdict of juries, he writes, no player who throws a game, no player who sits in conference with a bunch of crooked players and does not promptly tell his club about it, will ever play professional baseball again. All 8 players are banned for life. It does not matter that Buck Weaver never threw a game. It does not matter that Joe Jackson hit 375. They knew. They did not report it. That is enough. The press calls them the Black Sox. Rothstein returns to New York. He is untouched. He is wealthier than before. His reputation as the brain is solidified. Gamblers respect him. Criminals fear him. Politicians owe him. He expands his operations. Prohibition becomes law in January 1920. Rothstein is ready. He finances rum-running ships. He imports whiskey from Canada and Europe. He supplies speakeasies across Manhattan. He partners with younger gangsters. Meyer Lansky, Charles Lucky Luciano, Frank Costello. They call him the Fixer. He moves into narcotics. He organizes the importation of heroin from Europe. He does not handle the drugs himself. He finances the shipments. He takes a percentage. It is cleaner, safer, but Rothstein does not stop gambling. He cannot. It is his addiction. He plays poker several nights a week. High stakes, thousands of dollars per hand. He usually wins. He counts cards. He reads faces. He controls the game. But in September 1928, he loses. The game lasts 3 days. It takes place at the Park Central Hotel in Manhattan. The players include George "Hump" McManus, a bookmaker and gambler, Alvin "Titanic" Thompson, a professional hustler, and several other high rollers. Rothstein loses badly. By the end, he owes more than $300,000. He refuses to pay. He claims the game was rigged. He accuses Titanic Thompson of using marked cards. He walks away. McManus and the others are furious. They demand payment. Rothstein ignores them. Weeks pass. He does not pay. On November 4th, 1928, Rothstein receives a phone call. He is at Lindy's restaurant on Broadway, his usual spot. The caller asks him to come to the Park Central Hotel, room 349. Rothstein agrees. He arrives at 10:30 p.m. He takes the elevator alone. He does not bring a bodyguard. He carries no weapon. At 10:47 p.m., a hotel employee hears a gunshot on the 3rd floor. Chunk 3, 1,000 words. A maid finds Arnold Rothstein staggering near the service stairway. He is holding his abdomen. Blood soaks through his gray suit. He does not speak. He collapses against the wall. The hotel staff calls the police. An ambulance arrives within minutes. Rothstein is conscious. Detectives ask him who shot him. He refuses to answer. "I won't tell you nothing," he says. He is taken to Polyclinic Hospital on West 50th Street. Surgeons operate immediately. The bullet entered his lower abdomen and perforated his intestines. There is massive internal bleeding. The doctors work for hours. They cannot stop it. Arnold Rothstein dies at 10:15 a.m. on November 6, 1928. He is 46 years old. The investigation begins immediately. Police search room 349 at the Park Central Hotel. The room is registered to George McManus. He is not there. The room is empty. There is no blood, no weapon, no evidence. Detectives question everyone who was at Lindy's that night. They learn Rothstein received a phone call shortly before leaving. They trace it to the Park Central. They learn about the poker game. They learn about the debt. McManus becomes the primary suspect. He goes into hiding. Police issue a warrant for his arrest. He surrenders 3 weeks later with his attorney. He denies shooting Rothstein. He admits hosting the poker game. He admits Rothstein owed money, but he claims he was not at the hotel that night. The trial begins in November 1929. The prosecution presents evidence: the phone call, the debt, the empty hotel room registered in McManus's name. But there are no witnesses, no murder weapon, no confession. The defense argues that anyone could have shot Rothstein. He had dozens of enemies: gamblers, gangsters, politicians, men he had cheated, men he had ruined. The jury deliberates for 1 day. They return a verdict: not guilty. George McManus walks free. The murder is never solved. Theories circulate for decades. Some believe McManus hired someone else to shoot Rothstein. Others believe Rothstein was killed by organized crime figures who wanted to take over his operations. A few suggest he was killed because he knew too much about powerful men. The most likely explanation is the simplest. He was shot because he refused to pay a gambling debt. Rothstein's estate is a disaster. He dies with assets worth over $2 million on paper, but his records are chaotic. His debts are massive. His cash is hidden. His wife, Carolyn, receives almost nothing. His mistress, Inez Norton, sues the estate. Creditors line up. Lawyers fight for years. His influence does not die with him. The gangsters he mentored continue his work. Meyer Lansky builds a gambling empire. Lucky Luciano organizes the modern Mafia. Frank Costello becomes one of the most powerful men in New York. They all learned from Rothstein. The 1919 World Series remains the most infamous scandal in American sports history. It destroys public trust in baseball. Attendance drops. Revenue falls. Team owners panic. Kennesaw Mountain Landis restores order. He rules baseball with absolute authority for 24 years. He bans players for life for any association with gambling. He investigates rumors aggressively. He makes examples of anyone who threatens the integrity of the game. The 8 banned players never return to baseball. Some try to play in independent leagues under fake names. They are discovered and banned again. Eddie Cicotte moves to Detroit. He works odd jobs. He operates a small gas station. He refuses to speak about the World Series for the rest of his life. He dies in 1969 at age 84. Claude Lefty Williams returns to Chicago. He opens a pool hall. He avoids reporters. He dies in 1959 at age 66. Chick Gandil moves to California. He works as a plumber. He gives one interview in 1956. He admits organizing the fix, but claims he was not paid. He dies in 1970 at age 82. Buck Weaver fights for reinstatement for decades. He writes letters to every commissioner of baseball. He hires lawyers. He collects testimony from teammates who insist he played honestly. Every appeal is denied. He dies in 1956. Still banned, Joe Jackson moves to South Carolina. He opens a liquor store. He plays semi-professional baseball under assumed names. Fans recognize him anyway. He signs autographs. He never apologizes. He insists he played to win. He dies in 1951 at age 63. For decades, supporters petition for Jackson's reinstatement. They argue his statistics prove he tried. They argue he was a victim of manipulation. Every petition is denied. He remains banned. In 1989, the film Field of Dreams reignites public interest in Joe Jackson. The movie portrays him as a tragic hero, calls for his reinstatement increase. Major League Baseball does not change its position. Arnold Rothstein is remembered differently. He is not seen as a victim. He is seen as the architect, the man who corrupted America's pastime, the man who proved that even baseball could be bought, but he is also remembered as a genius, a criminal mastermind who understood power, leverage, and human weakness better than anyone else. He never served a day in prison. He never faced real consequences for the World Series fix. He walked away clean. The scandal changes baseball forever. Rules are tightened. Investigations become routine. Players are monitored. Gambling is forbidden. The game becomes more controlled, more protected, more corporate, but the memory remains. The 1919 World Series is the moment America learns that even its most sacred institutions can be corrupted, that heroes can be bought. That trust can be destroyed. 8 players lose their careers. 1 man profits. As the game is never the same. Arnold Rothstein's bullet wound was never explained. The gun was never found. The killer was never punished. But the fix, that was perfect.